everyone, Guppy Girl here, and welcome to my 2024 fish room tour. This is actually my fourth fish room I've had because I have literally moved my fish room 4 times now, and this is the fourth version. And I would say every version it gets a little better. I'm gonna break this video up into 3 parts. The first part being my showcase tanks. The second video I'll go over all of my guppy strains because I have many and a lot of guppy breeding projects too. And then the third video I'll just go over some of the stuff that I think is really good to have in the fish room. For now, just sit back and enjoy all of my tanks that I currently have. I don't use CO2 in any of my tanks. All these colors you see here are just the natural colors of the plants when they're more or less happy. I do use kind of highlight. You can see up here, it's a shop light and a night crew light. So kind of high, but nothing too fancy in terms of color spectrum or any of that. In fact, I only got the night crew lights so they can show the color of the fish a little better because the shop lights are very yellow and basically wash out most of the tank. But yeah, these are my tanks here. Just a quick little view. Don't mind, you'll see some plants in bundles. Those are plants I sell locally to people. Sorry, I don't sell online yet, but maybe in the future, we'll see. I don't consider any of these tanks my showcase tanks. They're more of just my guppy breeding projects and then plant grow out because I'm a plant collector, so I have many plants, and that's why you can see like a million different names on the bottom of each tank. My, I guess, creative idea for this tank. Without these 2 plants that are like in the bundles in kind of the middle of the tank, them aside, my idea for this tank was to have it be a pond style. At least what my imagination of what a pond would be like. So having a bunch of lily pads coming up to the top of the water, and then quietness, serenity. The mood I want to get from this tank is peace, and for me that means not having a bunch of guppies just going everywhere, swimming everywhere, being super colorful and excited. These are just males that were born into a colony and their color doesn't quite match that strain, so I pulled them out and they're in here for future breeding projects. Still really beautiful, and of course got my little old retired guys. Eventually all these male guppies will be moved over to a new tank, but for now they're in here. This tank was originally made to house tiny fish and just be a quiet ecosystem. So I have a bunch of least killifish in here, and I would like to add my kuliloches, my pygmy cories, and get some sparkling gouramis for this tank. I think that combination would be really awesome in here. So my hope is that they will get lost in this little world that I make for them. Having like a combination of so many little animals in here, you may not see them all in one go, and that is my hope for this tank. It's always a work in progress with aquascapes. Maybe you'll find a new plant that works perfect, and you know, it's just it takes time. It's like collecting or curating all these pieces to put into your masterpiece. Okay, enough of my crazy talk. We're here to talk about fish and plants and all things moving and alive and in the present. This tank is holding my Nymphaea collection so far. I think the most striking plant you guys will maybe wonder about is this one here. This is a tiger lotus. Super pretty with that kind of like painted maroon color on the leaves. So yeah, this one's really awesome and has been growing really quickly. You can kind of see here we have 2 leaves or 2 stems coming all the way up, and then boom at the top. Beautiful. I mean, I think they're gonna lose most of their coloration like this one has. This was a newer leaf that hit the surface, and this one was an older one. So I think newer leaves might just not be as colorful. But the bottoms, oh my goodness, look at that. Look how beautiful that is. I have never seen such a pretty purple in my life. And who would have known? Like the bottom of this leaf would look so nice. And even underwater, I don't think you can see them as well. For this bottom up view, you can see it kind of looks brownish colored. But you know, I know, you know now that the bottom of aquarium lily leaves are beautiful. And it's not just these type. So this plant also had lily pads that came to the surface in a different tank. And then when I transferred it, all the leaves died back. I thought I killed it, but at least it's coming back now. And if you're wondering, this is Taiwan lily, and this is a mixture of different myriophyllums. So yeah, these grow super fast and they don't need CO2 and they're beautiful, but they're not for this tank. Some plants in here you might find interesting other than the lilies. We have this Aponogeton crispus purple. This one I got from another hobbyist, and he grew these from seed, so he propagated them by seed, and I bought this little guy, and it's growing very slowly, but because I've been moving so much, I'm sure it's not happy. So hopefully that one gets a little bigger. I also bought this other one from him, and this one has been growing quite a bit faster, and you can see that purple. Whew, like the purples on some of these plants are just like chef's kiss. Beautiful. And let's see here, we have Simoleus parafloris, probably not saying that correctly. This one is also a really nice true to red color plant. Like you don't need anything special, it will stay red. Oh yeah, this one down here. So that little plant I got from a hobbyist at a local swap meet, and it was just in a bag full of plants, no name on it, at 10 bucks. And I was like, you know what? That looks interesting. Kind of like a mystery bag to me, and oh my gosh guys, I love discovering new things. After growing it a while and doing some research, it is a type of Laganandra. That one's like pretty uncommon to rare plant, so I was really excited to see that new find. Anyways, some other interesting plants that are kind of rare in here is this jungle valve, or I mean, it just looks like regular jungle valve, right? This is actually Vallisneria jacobsii. Mine is a little unhealthy, you can see, because the leaf is curling. But yeah, this is a large valve, and this one was recently discovered. There was a talk on it at the AGA Chicago. Oh, and if you don't know, AGA stands for Aquatic Gardeners Association. We have it here in the United States every 2 years, and that's where all of your really crazy plant nerds come out of the woodworks, and we all talk about plants like crazy people. Some other stuff that you might see and you're like, what the heck is that? We got crystal wort here. It's not a moss. I haven't tried tying it down to anything. I think it might be happier just kind of floating at the top like this. I think LRB Aquatics actually was talking about how some grasses were like living in this and then popping up like a floating island or something. I don't know, that sounds amazing. So I'm gonna try to do that with this grass back here. You're probably wondering what this is. This is a coffee filter on a hook being held up, and it's a little submerged so we can get some water in here. These plants were also from the AGA of this year that happened in North Carolina. So the grass we have here is, the name, Elacaris radian, and this was from the Juniper Gardens tour. One of the tour guides pointed it out and was like, oh yeah, you guys can take this. And all of us crazy plant people just were like, yeah, give me some of that. You're probably also wondering, what the heck is this? Well, this is my attempt at saving a tiny little Nymphaea species. This is the plant. Now it gets a lot larger than this. There's a little piece of rhizome in here right now. That's my attempt at trying to rescue it. Anywho, that's this tank. Oh, if you're wondering, lighting, you know, this main light over the long one is just an under cabinet light got from Costco, and this one here, I can't remember the name. Is there a brand on it? Nope, I don't recall. So lastly, for filtration, there is none other than this kind of glorified polishing filter. Basically, it's a filter that is like a pump on the top, and then at the bottom houses a sponge. But this is a really powerful filter, and I had it running for a little bit with a polishing filter pad in the bottom chamber. And then, of course, my guppies with long, beautiful tails, one of them got ripped. But yeah, so I only run that to polish the water, and other than that, I don't have any filtration on here. That's that tank. Okay guys, we're gonna speed run through the rest of it, because that was like kind of like a project I'm working through. Next, this is my betta. There's no name for this little guy. What should I name you? I don't know. What do you think your name should be? I don't know. I just call him my little guy. And he did have a girlfriend, but RIP. She was right next to him, and I had uncarded them for like a few minutes, and then I left to make dinner, and I forgot to put like the card in between their tanks, and then she jumped out. But yeah, I mean, he's pretty chill in here. And before you guys all flame me like for having him in such a tiny little container, this is a 2.5 gallon, and the water is not filled up quite as high as I would like. It usually goes like a little bit higher. In fact, he was a surprise. I like bettas, but I don't get them because they don't get along with guppies. I used to have a betta. I used to have two bettas actually. A male with a ton of guppies, and he was pretty tame and he was fine. And then I had a female who I got from someone who was rehoming their whole tank, and she was also good with little fish. But this guy, I can kind of tell from his personality, he's a little rambunctious. So no guppies. There are shrimp in here though, and if they become a snack, they become protein. No gravel, just plants, no filter, no heater, although this whole apartment is heated to 77 degrees, so it's pretty warm. In fact, let's see, what does it say? Oh my goodness, it is hot in there. 79.7. That is crazy. Yep. So it's warm. It's warm in there, and he's fine. I think it's cool how there is moss growing up above the water. In fact, I can show you a little better here. There's the Java fern, and then I don't know what kind of moss this is. I just had extra moss because I'm just growing moss all the time. And so I just threw it on top of the Java fern, and so it's resting on top, and then I threw this little mini hydrocotyle species. Just like, look how itty bitty these leaves are. It is just the most precious thing. Anyways, that stuff is like grows hair algae like crazy whenever I put it in a tank, so I'm just having it grow above the water and be adorable. But anywho's, this tank is, I would say, getting close to showcase-ish. It is not perfect by any means. It's kind of in the works. There is algae But yeah, very simple tank. The ground cover for this is Monte Carlo, and it's really easy to grow. You just give it light and aqua soil and as many months and days as you can withstand. I think it took about 3 months to get this carpet. Let's see what else we got. We have a really rare little fern, super tiny fern. I think they're more popular in terrariums, but either way, they are pricey as heck. Over here, we have some some willow moss. We got one piece of Boos here, and this is Boos Mini Catherine, I believe. And what else? I think I went over the moss. It's hooker moss. This plant in the back here is really cute and tiny. I do kind of plan on selling guppies in the future, so I wanted to have a nice little display tank to put them in, take pictures of, and then put them back in their normal tank. So that's why I made this. And if you're interested, this is a Tideline tank. I believe it's a 1.4 gallon. And my light just turned off because it's 10:30. How many takes of this video have I done? Too many. Anyways, this is the last showcase tank I want to show you guys. And this one is my 3-gallon Clover field tank. Although the field is coming out now. This tank was originally made for tangerine tigers, and I think what happened was the aqua soil has been fully used up. I think there's just a few tangerine tigers in here, although who's to say? It's quite a jungle back there. I've pulled out 3 so far and haven't seen any more, but they, you know, there's probably more, knowing shrimp. But yeah, so I'm rescuing them out of here. We'll probably need to redo this tank. These are the guppies I got from my friend in Hawaii. They're really, really beautiful. Yellow lace, double sword, snakeskin. Or sorry, I think it's just yellow snakeskin double sword. No lace involved, I don't think. Guppy names. Tomorrow, someone's coming up. I'm gonna give them a good amount of this plant in the back, which is Hydrocotyle verticillata. Overall, I'm probably gonna have to redo this tank because this plant originally started off, if I can have a good example of it. You can see here, look at these cute little umbrella shaped things. Can you see underwater is the question. There's too many fish in the way. Well, anyways, this is the plant. This is the Hydrocotyle verticillata underwater when grown submerged, and it's pretty tiny, you know, it's like 4, maybe 5 inches tall, and it's cute. And then the water line dropped and dropped, and then a few leaves were like, oh look, air. And then this happened, and it was nice at first. It was really nice. And then every week I was cutting back so much. And then I went on vacation and I came back and bam, explosion, it's taken over. So you can see here, we already have runners coming out the back over here. And I was trying to maintain all this, but you know, this is all new since like a week ago, because I literally just trimmed it back a week ago. So this is getting out of hand. I am happy with it. I mean, you can see we have a ton of flowers, and it's something I want to look at under the microscope and get some good shots of. So originally I wanted this tank to be mostly this little clover here. You can see kind of in the middle of the screen. This is Marsilia quadrifolia, and I don't know why it gets the 4-leaf clover shape. This is like a 3-leaf. Most of the time it's this little one leaf or one node, but I don't know what sets it off to become like a 4-noded leaf. No idea, but I thought it was such a cool plant, and I wanted a whole tank full of that. And I was like, oh, these little umbrella shaped plants, how cute, I will put it in there too. Big mistake, or probably my mistake, because I let the water line drop too far, and now that is just mess of a jungle back there. I really do like it in the back when it's just like a few pieces, but it takes over really easily like this in this scenario. So I'm thinking maybe put it like in a glass cup or something where the roots can't penetrate and escapee without me noticing. And I feed very heavily in this tank just because I know these plants will take care of it like immediately. Any ammonia, yeah, I don't need to worry about. For the lighting, it's a cheap night crew light and this spotlight. I don't know the name of it. It's pretty bright and probably not needed. Oh, if you're interested, this tank, like how I made it and when it actually looked the way it was supposed to look, link down below. It should be called something like Clover field tank or 3-gallon bowl. It was a showcase tank. I actually won an award for this tank. I'll put some pictures of when that happened because I'm pretty proud of that moment. I entered in a contest with my local club. I won first place. I was honestly very surprised. I almost forgot this tank. This is my 5-gallon marine portrait Pico tank. And this one is pretty new since I'm new to the saltwater hobby. This tank is a little over a year old. I made it in February of 2023. So yeah, just a little over a year, maybe a year and a half. It's my fish room. Lights have been turning off because it's time for everyone to go to sleep now. Here, this is a good one. Magenta guppies, beautiful. I have a lot of crossbreeding ideas and that will all be in the next video. So I'll see you then.